Hey there, everyone. This is Ryan from the Coffee People Podcast. And I want you to know that I don't just host coffee podcasts, I also listen to them. One of our recent guests, James Harper, is the host of Filter Stories. I originally reached out to James because his show is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. On Filter Stories, James does deep documentary-style dives into things like the history of or the science of coffee from an outsider's perspective. I'm not a science guy, but when James starts a new episode of Filter Stories by heading down the rabbit hole to explore how our perception of smell or taste can be changed by the environment or even the music we're listening to while we drink a cup of coffee, I'm enthralled. I've shared the links to Filter Stories in our podcast notes, but you can also search for Filter Stories on Apple or Spotify. You'll find the show there too. And I hope you listen, because you'll come away not just learning facts, but with an awareness of how you experience coffee. And because you can never listen to enough coffee podcasts, check out Filter Stories on your favorite podcast platform. Before we get started, I want to shout out the presenting sponsor of this show, Roastar Coffee Packaging Company, found online at roastar.com. Learn more about how Roastar can support your coffee roasters' packaging needs by going to roastar.com. Now, on to the show.
No. Okay.
We just had the most intelligent, well thought out conversation, and none of it is saved. So I'm going to start over from the beginning. If you're listening to this, know that we've had this conversation once. So if it sounds really smart, it's because we've practiced. We've literally rehearsed it.
We're professionals.
Unintentionally. I don't think that's ever happened to me where I've done a whole show where nothing was saved. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Season 10, Episode 8 of the Coffee People Podcast, which is part of the Roast West Coast Coffee Network and presented by Roastar Coffee Packaging. I'm Ryan Woldt, and this is the Coffee Podcast where we meet compelling humans from all corners of the coffee industry who share their coffee stories, and we try to figure out why they are so motivated to do what they do in coffee. And occasionally, we pop in on our industry partners or our past guests just to see how things are going and what has changed since the last time we chatted. Today I'm touching base with Erin Nenow, the founder and head roaster of Ascend Coffee Roasters. She's been on the show a few times already, and I'll link to the original shows with Erin in this show's podcast notes and on coffeepeoplepodcast.com. Be sure to check it out. But for now, enjoy this pop-in with Erin Nenow of Ascend Coffee Roasters, now in Carlsbad, California. Hey everyone, welcome to this second edition pop-in episode of the Coffee People Podcast, presented by Roastar Coffee Packaging and hosted by me, Ryan Woldt. I'm joined once again by the founder of Ascend Coffee Roasters, Erin Nenow. Ascend Coffee has been a longtime partner of this podcast and our platform and efforts to uplift coffee. And I wanted to check in because it's been a year of change for Erin and her team. The first time she was here sharing her coffee journey a few seasons ago, she was running Old Cal Coffee, managing it, co-owning it. It was a space that was slated for redevelopment and has since kind of gone down that path. And she found a new space for a new cafe, a new Ascend Coffee. I'll be sure to link to that original episode in this podcast notes so you can check that out. But I wanted to say welcome back to Coffee People, Erin. I'm glad you're here and willing to chat with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm trying to decide if that second intro was as good as the first one, but either way, it's always enjoyable to connect with you. I mentioned it to you earlier and to everyone now that I'm always inspired by how much you seem to get done in the time that we go without chatting or talking. So my question today for you is what's new? What's new with you and what's new with Ascend Coffee Roasters?
Well, everything is new. We're in a brand new space, starting a new chapter of our business that, it's funny that you say you're impressed with how much we get done because I feel like my sense of time is very warped. Because 3 months ago, I had two coffee shops. And then now we have one because they're redeveloping where our old one was. And I feel like we have gotten so much done in the last few months with all of that change that a week feels like a month. But that's just the season that we're in, and it does allow us to get more done, and we've landed on our feet. I'm grateful that we're still in business and that we have a new home.
Well, the new home, the new Ascend Coffee Roasters Cafe, is in the La Costa neighborhood of Carlsbad, California. It's not far from your original location. How is the new space different? The new space to me feels like you a lot more. When I walked in, I was pretty surprised by the difference in atmosphere and vibe. So curious to know how you went about that and what has been the community reaction, but also your feelings about going into a whole new neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you for seeing it as like a reflection of me. The old cafe was there since 1990, and it was in Restaurant Row, which has a very unique, like old California theme to it. Where our new coffee shop was more of just like a blank slate, kind of like suite in a shopping center that you would expect to see. So it didn't really have any character when we leased it, but that was kind of exciting because the other one had a built-in community, a built-in life of its own when I started working there 10 years ago. And this one, I kind of had a blank slate to make the branding and make the feel of the coffee shop the way that I wanted it to be. And I love it. It feels like mine. I feel like the captain of the ship in a different way than I did at our old cafe. I have a lot of people that come in and miss the charm of the 90s cafe, like the more cozy vibe. This one's a little bit more modern. I think it's moving in a good direction.
The old space definitely had some of that charm, but I think also as the person running the restaurant, people coming in weren't dealing with the realities of an old building either, and I'm sure
Yeah.
that was a
Oh my
challenge.
gosh.
The new space feels very happy. I think when I walked in, I was kind of noticeable. It was noticeable to me that it felt like a very uplifting, kind of bright space, which I really liked.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm wondering what have been kind of obviously there are advantages to new space, but what have some of the challenges been? I mean, you're starting in a place where no one knows you to some extent. I should say nobody, but you mentioned to me previously that even though it's not far, the communities don't necessarily overlap and people are looking for coffee in a place that's convenient to them. So what has that challenge been like for you?
Thank you for mentioning that it's like welcoming and uplifting because that's our brand. I want coffee to be motivational in the morning. Like, okay, I got my coffee. Now I can go do all the things. So I'm happy that that's translating. The challenges have been creating a new community. I'm so lucky that a lot of the people in San Marcos like the coffee enough to make the drive over and see us because it's just 6 miles away. But there are a lot of people that that's too far. So they come and see us once a week or once a month. And we've really had to create a new community in La Costa and get to know the locals there. So that's been my challenge. Like running a business, your business takes over your life. So people have been like, what are your hobbies lately? And I'm like, marketing. I'm learning marketing. So I'm learning about like Google ads. I'm learning about more about Yelp. I have a big arrow that I stand on the street with, trying to point people into the center so they can find us. But we have new regulars, new families we've gotten to know. And that part has, I've been at this for 15 years, and that part has kind of felt like I'm in a new era. I mean, I've always loved what I do. I have like the best job in the world. I own a coffee shop. But it's kind of just given me a little bit of a fresh start, which I love. And I love that the people from San Marcos still come over to see us too, because those are like our homies, like the people that have been like a part of our Ascend family since the day that we opened. So it's cool.
It's got to be fun though to know that new customers that are coming in don't necessarily have this preconceived notion of what Ascend might be because of the old cafe. They might
Yes.
just be coming in because they were at the Sprouts or at the dog groomers next door. little note, if you like looking at other people's dogs but don't want to have a dog of your own, sitting in front of Ascend is a great way to kind of experience that. But it has to be kind of a freeing thing to know that people walking in don't necessarily know you. They don't have a long relationship with what you had done before, so they can just judge the new space for what it is.
Yeah, and that part has been cool because when we were Old Cow Coffee and then we became Ascend overnight, and a lot of people compared Ascend to Old Cow Coffee, which, I didn't want to stray too far. I wasn't trying to like rewrite the book, but Ascend was a new company with a whole new set of offerings. So it is so nice to have people just judge it on its own.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good baking program. We make all of our pastries from scratch in the back. People just seem to love that and love that we actually have breakfast and lunch too. And then also getting like a new group of people judging the coffee and letting me know what they think. So that's been really fun.
Outside of the new cafe space, I know for a long time you've been working on a new roastery location with a possible tasting room. Could you give us an update on that?
Yes. So that's going to be in Vista, kind of the downtown Vista area, but closer to Civic Center Drive. We just got all of our permits. And I just talked to the guy in charge of the construction yesterday, and he said that they plan on starting in the next 10 days. So we're hoping that that will open in 2025 next year.
Wow, that seems so long. As the person who is, planning that space, how much control, if any, do you have on when stuff gets done? This feels like a very California thing to me.
I'm in coffee. I'm not savvy on construction. And when I opened the La Costa store, I had told everyone, oh, I'm going to get it open by October 1st. And I didn't get it open until December 6th. And that was like a building that was already built. So I'm probably not the person to ask on that. We obviously do want to get things done in a timely manner. The sooner that we open, the sooner that we can start selling and trying to make our business viable. So, of course, that's the priority. But there's things that you got to do, like the health department and making sure that all the construction's finished and staffing, just stuff you got to do to get open.
Well, back to the new cafe in La Costa, you mentioned you were learning some marketing, and I noticed particularly a couple of promotions. We've got Mother's Day coming up. You were posting earlier today about a pay it forward program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we have like a board in our cafe where you can buy a coffee for a loved one and grab a sleeve and a Sharpie and write a message to like your wife and just be like, hey, love you so much. Happy Mother's Day. Love Ryan and the pup. And then she can come in and order anything on the menu, grab that sleeve. You paid for her coffee already, and then she can enjoy that sweet little love note from you all day on her coffee.
I've been working to try to make it known how much I care, so that'll be a good way to do it. I see who's in the screen with you there.
Oh, this is my dog, Cass. I've been gone at the coffee shop all day, so he's like, Mom, like he's happy to see me.
I'm going to let you get back to spending time with Cass. But is there anything else that you want to let people know just as we're popping in today?
Just that if you haven't been over to our new cafe yet in La Costa, I would love to invite you over to see it. Like Ryan said, it's a different vibe. It's welcoming and fun, and I just want to share it with as many people as I can. And we're also online. If you're not in San Diego, we're at ascendroasters.com and on Instagram at ascendroasters. So we'd love for you to follow our journey.
Well, and I don't want to forget this, but I know you've worked hard on a crafty, darker roasted coffee. So if you're out there listening and you're like wondering where all the dark roast went, you'll find it at Ascend. That's where you go.
Yes, we have craft dark roast.
Erin, thank you. Cass, thank you for sacrificing for a few minutes. Really appreciate you being back.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
I appreciate you doing it twice. The show. So yeah, they've got a lot going on over at Ascend Roasters. I love the new space, and if you're in North County, San Diego, please make the effort to get over there and say hello. If you're not, find Ascend Roasters online at ascendroasters.com or at Ascend Roasters on Instagram. Thank you for listening to the Coffee People podcast and for supporting our little coffee community endeavor by rating this show on your favorite podcast app and sharing it with your friends. Head to coffeepeoplepodcast.com for more coffee content. This pop-in episode was produced with support from our presenting sponsor, Roastar Coffee Packaging, found online at roastar.com. We're also supported by the best of the best, our coffee industry partners, including legacy partners, Zoombar Coffee and Tea, Steady State Coffee Roasting, Moster Coffee, Coffee Cycle Roasting, Maria Coffee, and Cape Horn Green Coffee Importers. A special shout out to Crossings Coffee and Hasea Coffee Source, who've been enabling our Coffee Smarter efforts, which you can find at coffeesmarterpodcast.com. And finally, our full city partners, including today's guest, Erin Nenow of Ascend Coffee Roasters, Cozy K9 Coffee, Ignite Coffee Company, Acento Coffee Roasters, Civets Roasting Machines, San Franciscan Roasters, Me and My Uncle Coffee, and Craft 42 Coffee Roasters. This show, the Coffee People podcast, is part of the Roast West Coast Coffee Network. This episode has been written, produced, and recorded by me, Ryan Woldt. I hope this episode has found you happy, healthy, and with at least a swig of coffee left in your mug, enabling you to make it through the day. Always tip your baristas, and be sure to drink good coffee. Okay, that all recorded. All of it.
Great.
If you are in the early stages of your coffee journey, we want to support you. Check out the Coffee Smarter Education podcasts. Coffee Smarter is designed to enable coffee drinkers to brew a better cup of coffee at home. And Coffee Smarter Pro covers industry-specific topics for baristas, roasters, shop owners, and aspiring coffee professionals. You'll find both shows on your favorite podcast platforms or on our website at coffeesmarterpodcast.com.